Hey everyone, ready to level up your vocabulary? We're about to tackle 25 new words, and I'm going to make it super easy and, dare I say, fun. We'll group them into simple themes so they stick in your head, not just for your tests, but for real life. Okay, let's jump right in.
So first up, we're talking about beginnings and endings. How do you describe that exciting new idea that's just starting out? And on the other hand, what do you call it when a project just completely falls apart? We've got the perfect words for both.
Okay, take a look at this. It's like two different stories, right? On the left, we've got the path to success. You can foster an idea, which just means you help it grow. You're helping a fledgling project. That's something that's brand new and a little inexperienced. And if you do it right, it becomes fruitful, meaning it produces amazing results. But look at the right side. That's the path to failure. It starts with folly, which is just a really foolish idea or action. That can lead to a fragmentary plan, one that's incomplete, just pieces here and there. And the result? A total fiasco, an absolute disaster.
Let's really see these words in action. Think about a teacher who can foster a love of reading in her students. She helps that love grow. Now picture a fledgling company. Maybe just two people in a garage with a big idea. If they work hard, their partnership will be fruitful. But what if they make a huge mistake? Thinking you can run a marathon with zero training? That's pure folly. And if you only have a fragmentary memory of what went wrong, just bits and pieces, you might be heading for a fiasco. And a fiasco is a complete disaster. Like throwing a party where the food is awful and nobody shows up. Yeah, that's a fiasco.
Okay, so we've seen how things can start well and not so well. So what's the secret? How do you make sure your fledgling idea turns into a fruitful success and doesn't become a total fiasco? Well, it all comes down to having a solid plan. So let's look at some words for strategy and action.
Here we go. This is like your 5-step guide to getting things done. First, you make a foray. That's your very first step into something new. Then, you might try a smart gambit, a clever move to get ahead of the competition. After that, you've got to fuel your project with energy and resources. Then, you galvanize your team. You get them so excited they can't wait to get to work. And finally, you always have to forestall problems. Stop them before they even happen. Sounds like a plan, right?
All right, let's break down those first two steps. A foray. Think of it like dipping your toe in the water. It's your first try at something new. Like your first foray into baking is probably a simple cake, not some 5-layer masterpiece. A gambit, though, that's different. It's a much bigger, more strategic move. It's a clever plan designed to give you an advantage right away, kind of like a smart opening move in a chess game. So, a foray is a small test, a gambit is a bold play.
So, you've made your first move. How you keep going? Well, you have to fuel your project. Give it the energy it needs to keep moving forward. Then you need to galvanize your team. This is such a great word. It means to shock or excite people into action. Think of a coach's halftime speech that totally changes the game. That speech galvanized the team. And as you're moving ahead, you have to be smart and forestall any trouble. That means you see a problem coming and you act first to stop it, like locking your door to forestall a robbery.
We've got plans, we've got action, but what about the people? Projects are all about people, and let's be honest, people can be complicated. So this next group of words is all about describing different personalities, the way people talk, and yeah, the mistakes we all sometimes make.
Let's look at two totally different ways of talking. Someone who is forthright is direct and honest. They don't play games, they just tell you the truth. It's a really good quality. Now, someone who is flippant, well, that's not so good. A flippant person makes jokes or acts not so serious when the topic is actually very serious. It often comes across as rude or disrespectful. So forthright is honestly direct, while flippant is disrespectfully jokey.
Now for two really powerful verbs. To fulminate. Just picture someone exploding with anger. They're complaining loudly, angrily, passionately. Think of a customer yelling about terrible service. On the other hand, to forswear is quiet but just as strong. It means to make a very serious promise to give something up. After a health scare, someone might forswear fast food forever. So, to fulminate is a loud protest, while to forswear is a solemn, personal vow.
And finally in this group, let's talk about character traits and oops moments. A person who is fickle changes their mind all the time. One day they love something, the next day they hate it. You can't really depend on them. The weather can be fickle too. And a gaffe. Oh man, we've all done this. A gaffe is an embarrassing social mistake. Like calling someone by the wrong name or saying the completely wrong thing at the wrong time. Yep, that's a gaffe.
Okay, let's shift gears completely. We're going to look at some slightly more formal words now. These are words you'll definitely hear on the news or read in articles about the government, money, and the law.
Don't let these words scare you. They're actually pretty simple. Let's use a story. Imagine a king. A fiat is the king's order. When he says something, it's law, no questions asked. Fiscal has to do with all the kingdom's money, the taxes, the spending, the whole economy. And if you don't pay your taxes, the king might foreclose on your castle, meaning he takes it away from you because you didn't pay. See? Fiat is the order, fiscal is the money, and foreclose is the consequence.
And here's how you'll see them in the real world. If a leader creates a new rule by fiat, it means they just decided it on their own. No vote, no discussion. When you hear that a country is having a fiscal crisis, it just means they have really serious money problems. And if you get a letter from the bank, it might warn you that if you don't make your payments, they will foreclose on your house. Very specific words for very serious situations.
All right, for our very last group, we're getting into some really cool abstract ideas. These are words that help us talk about imagination, our special talents, and the entire range of something.
Okay, this is a fun one. Real versus not real. A figment is something that only exists in your imagination. It isn't real. Like that monster you thought was under your bed as a kid? Total figment of your imagination. But fodder is the opposite. Fodder is the real stuff, the raw material that you use to create something. A writer might use real-life stories as fodder for their next novel. So remember, figment's imaginary, fodder is the real material for creation.
Everybody has something they are especially good at, right? That one thing that's your special talent? That, my friend, is your forte. Maybe your forte is math, or painting, or telling jokes. And when you use your forte well, you can garner things. To garner simply means to gather or collect. You can garner support for an idea, or a movie can garner great reviews and awards. So your forte is the skill you have, and to garner is to collect the rewards that skill brings you.
And here we are, our final word. It's a fantastic one. Gamut. And you say it like gam-ut. It means the entire, complete range of something. From A to Z, from top to bottom, the whole shebang. Think of a piano keyboard, all the notes, from the very lowest to the very highest. That's the whole gamut.
So, how do you use it? Easy. You could say a huge electronics store sells the full gamut of products, meaning everything from a $5 cable to a $5,000 TV. Or you can use it for feelings. If someone goes from being super happy to incredibly sad in a short time, you could say their emotions ran the gamut from joy to despair. It's the perfect word to describe a complete range of anything.
And that's a wrap. You've just garnered 25 new words. And you know what? With a little practice, using them correctly can become your new forte. So I have a question for you. How are you going to use your new vocabulary? What's the first word you're going to try out today? Go for it.